So you are completing nearly 73% of your passes. You lead the FBS with 24 touchdowns. The only Big Ten quarterback to do that since Dwayne Haskins. How do you stay so consistent through this start?
Yeah, first of all, I want to give my respects to Dwayne Haskins. He's a great Big Ten quarterback that I grew up watching and had a fantastic career at Ohio State. And like you said, consistency is the key. Throughout early stages of my career when I played back at Cal, I was a little bit inconsistent. There were some great games that I had, and there were some not so great games that I had. And so my big thing when coming to Indiana and coming to such a great offensive system is consistency. I want to be consistently the best Fernando Mendoza that I can become. And with the help of Coach Signetti, Coach Shanahan, and Coach Whitmer, I think I've been able to elevate myself to a more consistent Fernando Mendoza. And it really starts with the coaching points of keeping every play to itself. Once a play happens, good, bad, or indifferent, put it behind you. Play the next play. And at the end of the game, you look up at the box score, seeing, wow, okay, are we winning? Are we losing? Obviously, every single down, you need to know the down and distance and the situations of the game. But you don't want to see, oh, wow, do I have 500 passing yards? Do I have 20 passing yards this game? You don't want to see that. And so my big thing is staying intentional with it, not trying to count my shots, meaning, oh, do I have a high completion percentage this game? How's it looking? To really just stay intentional in every single play in the present moment.
So for you, it's all about staying intentional, and for us in the media, it's all holy moly, look at his numbers. I mean, the last four quarterbacks to post the passing numbers that you have that we just talked about with an 8-0 record. Again, naming some big names out there: Jameis Winston, Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud. What goes through your mind when you hear Fernando Mendoza mentioned with those names?
Yeah, so those are all guys that I grew up watching, and it's such an honor to be mentioned in that category with those guys. And one thing I will say about those guys is all those guys had fantastic finishes to all their seasons. I believe from just my short-term memory here, most of those guys were national champions, or most of those guys went on to win, amazing awards for their team and ended up winning playoff games or bowl games. And that's something that I strive to do. As to be quite honest, we're 8-0 right now, but this is only the halfway mark of our season, or hopefully the halfway mark of our season, as we have 4 regular season games left, and hopefully we have a very long and prosperous postseason. So at this point, I'm like, wow, this is a great milestone to hit so far. And you giving me the stat about 73% is great, because my goal this year is 70 from the jump. I want to hit 70, so I'm a little above it. Got to keep on striving, but so there's no room for complacency. But like I said, we're only basically halfway through our season. And so it's a great milestone to, pat yourself on the back. However, I really want to make sure that we keep this thing rolling and, keep on not only these great, stats, but more importantly, these wins that we have going on.
Right. It's all about the wins. It's all about that end goal. And next up, you have Maryland. So what stands out about their defense? What kind of tone do you want to set early in that game?
So Maryland is a very young and vigorous defense. These guys, they play hard, they play to the ball, and they're really all over the place. I think Maryland has one of the top turnover ratios in the nation, which is you always got to be aware of as a quarterback, because turnover ratio is a huge indicator of who wins the game. And so with seeing Maryland's young defense, I mean, even though it's a young defense, they're very strong. I think they're only letting up around 17 points per game, especially since with some great offenses. They held UCLA to not that many points, and they held Washington, who's another great offense, to not that many points. So it's really about playing our game and showing, everybody that what we can do, especially against Maryland, who, they might be inexperienced player-wise, but that group really plays well together. And you can see it's a really young group of guys playing together. And that's always scary to play against, because it's a little bit of an 8-ball. You don't really know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. That's the way that football rolls, right? Right now, you are the Heisman favorite. Take a moment, let that soak in. But you have made it very clear about keeping everything just inside the building. How do you stay grounded amidst all this noise?
Yeah, I think it's very important to stay grounded, as I've seen at times in my career that I've had a great game or a great practice, and then the next one's not as good just because of the complacency. So I always try to maintain the mindset of the hunter rather than the hunted. Instead of being the favorite, I want to be the hunter and try to get to that top. And even if I'm at the top, like at this point, I know that doesn't last forever. And I try to still put myself in a position where I'm still looking at other guys above me so I can be like, oh, I need to get up there. And then also, I would say everybody in the building, support staff, teammates, and coaches are all very good at staying intentional, staying in the present moment. For example, I was talking to Matt Leinart last week because he was covering our game, and I asked him about some advice. And Coach Signetti made sure to call me into his office and and tell me that not to worry about that stuff and to really stay focused in every game. And winning those postseason awards only happen if we win the next game. So I would say the coaches here, support staff, and everybody really does make a good, really helps myself and my teammates. We have great receivers, great, defensive players that are, I'm sure, are up for postseason awards and awards like that. Everybody in the building does a really good job of keeping the ego out of it. And if you're up, they'll kick you a little bit down.
Right down there.
They'll chirp you. And if you're a little bit down, they do a great job of bringing you up. So yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask though, what did Matt tell you? What did Leinart tell you about just keeping that mentality and just making sure you're focused on the present?
Yeah, so I think he has a great perspective because he has a son now that is committed to play at SMU. So I think he has the quarterback dad version. And so he really just told myself to soak it all in, That's an amazing experience, especially everybody that plays high school football that goes to college is like, wow, high school were the good old days. And then everyone that goes to college to play in the NFL, we're like, wow, the college those were the real good old days. Mm-hmm. And so I've had incredible experiences in all the phases of football that I've been. And I think it really just goes back to the present moment, to not look ahead, look to the future, or even look behind myself, to really stay in the present moment, soak it all in, and really just help IU win the next game.
I saw when Leinart was talking about that on Big Noon Kickoff before, as we were preparing for our game on CBS, and he was saying, I would lie to say it wasn't in the back of my head. And it's difficult to go through the season not thinking about the Heisman chatter behind you. So I think you're doing a great job at keeping the main thing the main thing. But yeah, it is difficult. And just talking about your journey and everything you've been through, you said you transferred to Indiana to become a pro-ready quarterback, right? So obviously focused on the moment, but again, it's the future is ahead of you. What was it about Coach Signetti's system that made you believe this was the right place for your development, and why is it working?
Yeah, I think there's a multitude of reasons why it's working. I think it's not just one sole reason. I think that there's so many great people in the building. So we have fantastic offense. We have a fantastic team all around Indiana, just skill-wise, coached-wise. It just makes it so easy I would say there's a lot of players in Indiana that are breaking out. And I think it's not because of a singular coach or a singular player. I think it's just because of the overall culture and overall collection of great coaches and great guys that is allowing everybody to elevate each other's games. And especially with the quarterbacks, Coach Signetti and Coach Shanahan have had a fantastic track record of developing quarterbacks, and especially transfer quarterbacks, and kind of, turning them around in 1 year. And I've been able to see that personally with my little brother also being in the quarterback room. When I spent 3 years in college, because I'm 2 years ahead of him, and he only spent one, I'm like, wow, this guy's basically smarter than me. He's smarter than me. He's able to dissect defenses better than me. And I kind of had a little, vulnerable moment with myself. I'm like, wow, am I doing something wrong? Am I giving myself the best shot that I can do? And then ended up transferring here, and then also having Coach Chandler Whitmer as our quarterback coach, who has a lot of experience, developing great college quarterbacks, and also with the NFL with coaching Justin Herbert and Michael Penix. It's great to not only get the college side of it, but then also sprinkle in a little bit of the NFL philosophy that I think has really helped our offense elevate its game.
You mentioned your brother there, Alberto. The two of you became the first brothers in a decade to throw a touchdown in the same game. What is it like sharing this journey with him, with your brother?
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stats. I think it was, like you said, throwing a touchdown. Last game, we both rushed a touchdown. So sharing it with him is truly special. And just being honest, we know that we won't be able to share a quarterback room forever. However, having that experience with another quarterback in the room, with my younger brother, seeing how much he's developed, seeing how great he's going to be, and really pushing each other to the max, and really both of us having each other's best intentions in mind is truly special, and something that I hope to look back in 10, 20, 30 years and be like, wow, that was one of the best moments and one of the best years of my life, being able to share it with my brother and be able to, hopefully 30, 40 years if I'm if I'm still alive, and who knows with everything, all the technology that's progressing nowadays, be able to, chop it up with him and just talk about that great experience.
That's something you'll remember forever. All right, last one I got for you, and then I'll let you go. I know you're busy, but when you were younger, you told your dad you wanted to be the next Tom Brady. Now, Coach Signetti has said that he believes you have the drive to be that good, to be the next future absolute star at the college level, in the NFL. What do you think separates you? Maybe it's your preparation, but what separates you from most quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's a lot of great quarterbacks out there, and I think it's the aspect of always learning. Whenever I love college football and I love football in general, so whenever I watch other great NFL quarterbacks, whenever I watch other great college quarterbacks, like when we played Dante Moore, I got to watch him, Ty Simpson. I mean, there's just a lot of other great. Marcel Reed from Texas A&M. There's a lot of other. I could go on and on and on and on. I don't want to miss anybody, but whenever I watch these guys and watch NFL quarterbacks, my viewpoint is always trying to, kill my own ego and just try to learn as much as I can. Try to relate. Hey, and is there anything that I could, take? Is there anything that I could even learn from watching one of their games, one of their plays, and to help myself, elevate myself to the next level. And I think that's a big thing of always trying to learn. And then also always have that underdog mentality. I've always been the backup quarterback growing up. So I've always had that hunger and always had that hungry mindset. And so just keeping that hungry mindset and pairing it with the learning mindset, I think has been key and something that I want to keep on doing.
It is working for you, my dear. Thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dell. Have a great day.